This is Reggie, and this is Slasher's Keep. Get tortured. Eat salami. Become God. And copious amounts of drugs, I assume. Just because of who this is we're talking about.
Slasher's Keep is a game about crafting powerful weapons, appreciating priceless works of art, slapping men with your leathery sack, and much more, all wrapped up in what can only be described as an experience. This game has been enjoyed by the same 9 people for the past 5 years, and I'm one of them. So today we'll be exploring Slasher's Keep, reviewing the gameplay, and discovering how to break the game and become God. But first, I have to tell you something. 2 years ago, I was a terrible chef. It didn't matter what I was cooking, I would invariably find a way to mess it up, which was typically followed by a prolonged and violent mental breakdown. Every day, I went to war in my kitchen, and something as simple as flipping an egg could take as long as 7 hours and cost me hundreds of dollars. Homemade pasta? I simply don't know where I'm going wrong. I was certain that my culinary bankruptcy would eventually result in my death, until I found the sponsor of today's video.
Are these leaves? At first I thought it was insects, but no, is that a whole ass onion?
Sponsor of today's video, Factor. Factor is a meal delivery service offering a wide variety of healthy, delicious, and ready-made meals delivered right to your doorstep. Even someone with my condition can prepare these meals. Just 2 minutes in the microwave and you're good to go. These are restaurant-quality dishes with over 80
No, that don't look restaurant quality. Nope, Bro could set water on fire.
Ranging from nutritious vegetarian stir-fry to high-protein beef fillet. And if you're picky, swap out your protein at no extra cost. This isn't the typical slop you might find in my kitchen. It's healthy and delicious food in...
I've actually seen that steak video, and I gotta say, I'm not too happy about that.
Inspired by several cuisines such as American, Asian, and Mediterranean. Above all else, I personally value Factor for its convenience. You see, I follow a strict workout plan, and Factor gives me the time and energy I need to be at my best. Whether your goal is to put on some muscle or lose some fat, Factor's diverse selection of meals and carefully detailed nutritional information can help you on your journey. So what are you waiting for? Skip the dishes, simplify healthy eating, and above all else, avoid destroying your oven every time you try to make a casserole by visiting factor75.com or clicking the link below and using code Reggie.
I know that dude, but I hate him. Factor is also from HelloFresh, so do with that what you will.
50 to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. That is amazing. Thank you, Factor. Now back to the video.
God damn!
First things first, we've got to create a character. I am pleased to announce that I have several options to choose from, including Demon, Slime Man, and Sasquatch. However, you probably haven't unlocked those yet, which means you're stuck with either Amazon Warrior or Puss from The Sopranos. Technically, each race does have different abilities, but the developer went out of his way to make sure that none of them are any good. So unless you're trying to roleplay as a cannibal, your race doesn't really matter. After settling on a geriatric man who's redder than the devil's dick, we load into the game and wake up locked in a prison cell.
That's Moomy, fuck you!
Our insane brother Bindrick.
Once I establish my theocracy, I will throw you in my dungeon and let you rot for eternity.
And it doesn't sound like we're getting out anytime soon, until you realize the cell door isn't actually attached to anything, and you can just push it over. Fortunately for us, the guard is on a piss break, so we grab some random loot from this chest and start our adventure. Your primary goal
the fucking broken sword, bro.
So we grab some random loot from this chest and start our...
Oh my god, is that not the broken blade from the Dark Souls series? Man. It's fun.
Adventure. Your primary goal in Slasher's Keep is to stop playing Slasher's Keep. which we accomplish by escaping the castle. Depending on how you set up your game, this could involve fighting through as few as 10 floors or as many as 70. Each time you die, it's back to floor 1 with no gear, no money, and a new hole in your drywall. However, despite dying, you need...
drywall, about that. If I kick my wall, my hand breaks, not the wall.
Most of your stats, which means that over several runs, you can slowly build up a stockpile of strength, dex, and intellect to compensate for your lack of skill.
Sound!
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh?
Eventually, you'll become an unstoppable killing machine, one-shot the final boss, and escape the castle. But is any of that actually fun? The answer is, I think so. It's fun in the same way that using a ham radio to sexually harass truck drivers is fun.
I'm over here stroking my dick.
Which is to say, at first, it's very awkward. But once you settle into it, it's a great way to spend your night.
I'm a freak, man.
During this adventure, you'll...
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick. I'm stroking my shit. Jerk off, man. Yes, is that the clip where... Oh... At least I missed the dick.
Encounter multiple strange characters and even participate in side quests, which you can pick up from a talking face in the wall.
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Traditionally, I don't recommend listening to voices in your head when they command you to kill people in increasingly deranged ways.
If I chop you up in a meat grinder, and the only thing that comes out that is left of you is your eyeball, you're probably dead!
But the rewards are very compelling. You see, at its core, this game is about getting loot and stabbing people. So let's take a look at the equipment. By killing enemies, finding treasure, and interacting with the merchant, we can access a diverse selection of armor. And the developer has invested hundreds of hours into making sure that regardless of whatever combination of clothes you equip, you will always look like a gay medieval prostitute. Imagine an entire dungeon where this is the coolest guy. Truly remarkable. In addition to armor, there's also a variety of weapons ranging from battle axes to a bundle of bananas taped on the end of a stick. And if you prefer magic, we've got that too. There are several different types of wands you can use, but I'll put this bluntly. In terms of combat effectiveness, low-level wands are about as useful as pissing in your cupped hands and splashing it at the enemy. Doesn't hurt unless you get them in the eyes, and even then, you're going to run out of ammo before you know it. But perhaps your most powerful weapon of all is the humble sack. By pressing F, you can sack slap your enemies, pushing them back depending on how full your inventory
And if you have a full inventory...
Combine this with some environmental hazards and you've got yourself an instant kill on any enemy in the game. Which is very important, because the difficulty curve in Slasher's Keep is either entirely random or designed by someone who hates you specifically. Because one floor, you're killing everything no problem. The next, you're getting one-shot by the goddamn mosquitoes. But I digress.
Wait, didn't you just run into the fucking spikes?
Or bludgeon them into submission with a beef leg, it doesn't really matter. What does really matter is what skills are on your weapon. Each piece of equipment provides you with unique abilities. For example, these shoulder pads give me Mind Blast, which means that whenever I decapitate an enemy, their decollated head will turn into a grenade and hopefully kill their allies. The reason skills are important is because you can permanently learn them, so that even when you die and lose everything, you'll still have a collection of strange and vaguely useful abilities to fall back on. Not only can we learn these skills, but we can also level them up, which results in some fascinating gameplay outcomes. For example, Iron Skin gives us a 2% chance to become invulnerable upon taking damage. But if we level this up 98 times, that chance increases to 100%. So whether you're getting stabbed repeatedly or standing in a stream of molten lava, it doesn't matter. You are functionally invincible. There's an overwhelming number of skills, but I'll tell you about the best ones and the most questionable questionable. Skill number
Hitting a
1,
spider.
Golden Tongue. This might be the best one in the game because with only a single point in it, we can now get one free item from a shop on every floor. Legendary artifact weapon worth thousands of gold? Yeah, I'll take the 100% discount and then sell it back to you for a profit. Speaking of discounts, if you continue leveling Golden Tongue, you'll get a shop-wide discount. For example, I have a 1700% discount on all items I purchase. Every time
Doesn't
I buy
that
anything,
mean
the
you
shopkeeper
get
goes
money?
into massive debt and has to take out a second.
Wait. You can make it so that he owes you money when you buy shit. That's the most capitalist thing I've ever heard. God fucking damn
mortgage
it.
on his house just to pay me back. This is the way I prefer to do business. Next skill, Deflect. This one lets you deflect enemy projectiles with your sword. The higher the skill, the higher your accuracy. Eventually, you'll get so precise that you could perform laser eye surgery with a tennis racket from 90 feet away. But don't worry about philanthropy. We're going to be using this exclusively for killing people, mainly bugs and closeted homosexuals. This is a huge game changer because it now enables a playstyle I call left mouse button, where you simply find the fastest weapon available, hold down left click, and walk toward enemy casters cackling maniacally as you continuously smoke them in the face with their own projectiles. The final essential skill in your arsenal should be improved sack smack. Prior to this, your sack is comparable to a weighted pillow, but after getting this skill, your sack may as well be full of dumbbells and hand grenades, because hitting an enemy with it will not only launch them 40 feet across the room, it will also kill them on the spot. My final note on the topic of good skills is that any skill can be good if you're willing to level it up 400 times. Pyromastery increases our fire damage 600%. Not bad, but now that it's level 400, it increases fire damage by 40,000%, which turns our fire wand into a portable death sentence for everyone in the room. In fact, the blast radius is so large that it's also a death sentence.
So that game allows you to become super fucking OP? That might be a game for me, actually.
Sentence for people outside of the room. Moving on to some less practical skills, we have flame walking. Every time you attack, there's a chance you light your footsteps on fire, which can damage your enemies, and if you combine it with our 40,000% fire damage, it's going to kill them.
Enemies are literally cooked.
I know that sounds cool, but it's really not cool when you walk into a pool of oil and accidentally
burn yourself.
self-immolate. So you might want to hold off on that Illidan Stormrage cosplay. Next terrible skill, exothermic Shrinomancy. Just got out of a crazy fight with like 10 health? Don't worry, there's a healing shrine right over there. And now with exothermic Shrinomancy, it will explode after use, likely killing you in the process. Why would I want this? In a similarly disappointing vein, we have the Arachnophile ability. All over the map, there's spiders that you technically can eat, but no one does that because it deals damage and makes you shit yourself. However, with the Arachnophile trait, we can eat those spiders to restore a small amount of ammo to our wand, but we still take damage and shit ourselves. Far be it for me to judge, but if you ever find yourself sitting in a dungeon eating bugs while covered in your own feces and vomit, you've probably made some bad choices. Lastly, we have the fun skills, starting with the Denotificator. Many years ago, there lived a wild man named Ruprecht. Once a year, he would emerge from his hovel and creep through the neighboring villages, giving gifts to the well-behaved youth. The naughty ones, however, he would beat them half to death with his rod. That divine duty is now ours, because this skill allows us to beat the ever-living shit out of our enemies until they drop gifts for us. Honestly, I don't even care about the gifts that much. Half the time, I just leave them there. But getting the gifts, I like that a lot. It makes me feel like I'm extracting a confession out of a serial killer.
You fuck young boys, Valdez.
Are you a madman?
It's just very fulfilling. Other than that, you could run Force Knight. This increases your physics-based damage, so now it's entirely possible to blow a man's head off with a wooden crate. And once your skill is high enough, you don't even need the crate. You can just accelerate your enemies into a wall at 900 miles per hour and snap their neck like a twig. Also, you can use this perk to prop surf, which can be useful for taking shortcuts and finding treasure. Just make sure you don't accidentally glitch out of the map, because you'll get stuck in a 5-minute loading screen, followed by an ominous message which reads, "I've failed." At which point, congratulations, you've broken your save file. So keep it simple and beat people to death with chairs. Then, if you're feeling special, you can use the scrap collector skill, which lets you disassemble human bodies into spare weapon parts. Speaking of weapon parts, crafting is a big part of the game. Over time, you'll loot different components and trinkets, which can then be arranged and assembled into your own custom weapon. I call this one Tarantino's Delight, and I've got about 20 different models of the motherfucker. Crafting weapons is a test in which there are no wrong answers. So grab a blade, put the handle on backwards, sprinkle some random bullshit on it, and you're good to go. So that covers your weapons and skills. Now let's take a look at the dungeon itself. As you progress through each floor, you will explore 3 breathtaking biomes, which I am incorrectly titling Sex Dungeon, Platforming Hell, and Some Guy's House. Each one has its own unique traps, puzzles, and denizens. So let's start at the beginning.
The Sex Dungeon.
This biome raises some red flags. The entire place is covered in oil and vaguely pornographic subject matter. It appears to have its own Epstein client list.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
God,
And in order to even
just give
escape-
us the list, bro! What the
It's
fuck?
mandatory that you and another man smack each other with your sacks until one of you is dead. I don't know for a fact what goes on down here, but I can tell you confidently I'm not drinking that wine. Point is, we need to escape. And to do that, we're going to have to kill a small... army of zombies, warlocks, and naked mole rats. Fortunately, this is very simple. Not because I have a plan, but because the entire combat system is very simple. 95% of all enemies can be handled in the following manner. Hit them in the face, wait for them to try to hit you back, parry it, and repeat. The worst part about this is the AI also wants to parry you, which results in most of your battles devolving into a high-stakes staring contest. With a combat system as thrilling as this, all you have to do is memorize some attack patterns. After that, combat becomes fairly trivial, and instead, your number one threat will be mankind's most quintessential enemy, your own stupidity.
Oh yeah, that's
Nothing humbles the human spirit quite like ending a 7-hour run by accidentally jumping off a ledge. Furthermore, the Sex Dungeon has a wide variety of traps, many of which can one-shot you. We've got your classic spiky floor trap, swinging door trap, and the fan favorite slowly descending ceiling trap. This game also seems to get off on combining all of these together in a singular area. And when I have to try and navigate a hallway with floor spikes, swinging blades, magic missiles, and flying bugs, I start involuntarily convulsing. Now, if you do manage to survive all of that, you'll come across the first boss, the spider. She is very dangerous, so I treat her like I treat all women. I keep my distance and then dissolve her in acid. To accomplish this, simply run around the edge of the arena while jumping. After exactly 25 jumps, the spider will start laying eggs. Kill the eggs before they hatch, and then lure the spider into the acid puddles. This will kill her very fast, and if you're lucky, you'll get some great loot. Now that we've played for 5 to 10 hours and beat the first boss, we can safely answer an important question. How does this game feel? Terrible. The game feels terrible. I struggle to properly articulate how clunky the movement is, but if you can imagine trying to operate a Challenger 2 main battle tank while 7 grown men hit you as hard as they possibly can with baseball bats, then you're about 80% of the way to understanding. It is then a surprising and regrettable decision that the developer chose to make the entire next biome focused on movement-based puzzles, because upon killing the spider, we are now entering platforming hell. Have you ever wanted to climb a staircase where the stairs are disappearing and the floor kills you? Me neither, but we're here now, so let's try to figure this out. This biome gets an absurd amount of mileage out of jumping puzzles, which is just so unfortunate, because the collision detection in this game is, at all times, having a stroke. The only tip I have when jumping is to stay away from the wall, because I am absolutely convinced that the hitboxes were designed as part of a CIA operation to increase suicide rates among gamers. And god damn it, they're getting close.
God damn it.
Moving on, the trap.
I saw that clip. He played Russian roulette. It didn't kill him. And then he put on Pippa and was like, yay!
This biome are largely the same as before, with the exception of the swinging blades. Spike traps will make your run harder. Swinging blades will make your run shorter, so I recommend avoiding when possible. Moving on to the monsters, the only new addition here is the Charger. This guy is the exception to our rule about parrying, because he will one-shot you. The Charger is actually mildly terrifying, until you realize you can use the terrible collision detection against him, and perfectly counter him with a door frame, spike traps, or any wall that is not perfectly parallel to his line of attack. In my completely uninformed opinion, this biome is harder than Sex Dungeon. The Sex Dungeon had plenty of crates and shelves stocked with kielbasa, apples, and wine laced with Ambien, all of which was edible and restored HP. However, the crates in this biome aren't full of food. Instead, you're more likely to find bloody surgical equipment and studded butt plugs. This makes a noticeable difference in your health economy, so make sure to stock up on those
he's not even that
potions.
far off
After
with
escaping this area, we proceed to
Sex
the
Dungeon,
final
huh?
biome, which I am now renaming Vancouver, because it has the facade of a nice place. However, it's full of meth heads that want to stab you. In general, the manor is much more puzzle-centric. Interact with strange machinery. Climb into someone's septic tank. Enter secret codes into hollowed-out books. And hold on, is that painting looking at us? Yes.
Just
yes, it is.
a
And there's
little
a
bit?
yellow-eyed pervert on the other side of it. All in all, it's very charming. Unfortunately, this biome doesn't introduce many new traps, and the only new enemy is the sword goblin from before, except now he has 2 swords, and years of drug abuse have turned his skin gray. However, the developer anticipated that we might be disappointed by this lack of content, so he sat back in his RGB gaming chair and pondered to himself, what does the player base desire above all else? Yes,
Loot.
they want more platforming. And then he added the hardest jump in the entire game. I thought this was impossible for the first 20 minutes, and now I have to do it on every other floor. 1,000 curses upon you, Damien Schloter. Once you've killed about 100 drug addicts, you're probably ready for the final boss. From a design perspective, when your combat system is this, creating a compelling boss fight requires a lot of creativity, and Slasher's Keep did not too bad. We enter the final boss room, where we finally confront our brother Bindrick. If you enter as a human, he'll recognize you and give you some
Varied
exposition.
enemies
If you
would be
enter
nice.
as a polyamorous slime man, he's confused as fuck.
Wait, who are you? I was expecting.
Either way, Bindrick mind-controlled this Amazon warrior, and now she's trying to kill us. To win, we need to parry attacks until she drops her swords. Then, when she tries to pick them up, we just steal them. This forces her to run to one of the nearby chests for more weapons. These are conveniently placed next to some spikes, which we promptly tackle her into. Then, while she's busy bleeding to death, we can see what's inside the chest. If it's good, we take it for ourselves. If it's a rusty sword made of dirt, we let her have it. And when she recovers, we continue the cycle all over again. It's actually very easy, but fairly creative given the gameplay limitations. Alternatively, we could focus on killing Bindrick by destroying these pillars and causing him to fall off a 15-foot high balcony and die. Not the most cinematic boss fight, but it works. Regardless of who you choose to kill, just make sure you pick up Ava's body, because by participating in human trafficking, we can unlock some very powerful abilities. On that note, I want to warn you about New Game Plus. Because of how the difficulty scales and how you lose stats, it's very likely that you will load up New Game Plus, die once, lose all of your good gear, start over with shit gear, and keep dying. With each death, you lose more stats until you've basically soft-locked your game, because it takes you 20 minutes to kill a single zombie and everything now one-shots you. There's no sophisticated solution to this. You just have to be better. Once you've achieved some level of stability, you're ready to start using alchemy. This is a component of the game that I recommend ignoring until you get to higher difficulties, because it actually breaks the game. We'll start off simple. You can loot or purchase flasks throughout your adventure, and by mixing different liquids into them, you can create hundreds of different elixirs. Some of these are decent, and others, such as Mega Wine, just make you black out and wake up on floor 1. Not great. However, beyond that, there exists a brand of alchemy that will turn you into a god. Here's Here's how it
What?
works. It's all about scrolls and grease. Let's start with the Cyberthurgist's cryptograph. These scrolls can be looted or purchased, and when used, they consume a piece of armor and permanently add 20% of the armor value to your character. However, if we combine Dungaberry's concoction with liquid steel, we can create parchment grease, which, when applied to a scroll, buffs the scroll's effect. So, by getting 9 parchment greases, we can
There
buff our
ain't no
scroll
way.
to give us a permanent 200% armor.
Ain't
Use that
no
on a
way.
piece of late-game gear, and congratulations, you've now got a permanent plus 6,000 armor despite being completely naked. Now listen, that's a cute tactic, but it's just the tip of the autistic min-maxing iceberg.
I see.
The Warrior's
Oh.
Writ, the Trickster's Treatise, and the Magician's Manifesto are all scrolls that permanently buff a piece of armor by 2 strength, dex, or int. However, by applying parchment grease, we can increase that buff to 4. Not a big deal, but if we do it again, it doesn't go to 6, it goes to 8, which means we're doubling it. 8 becomes 16, 16 becomes 32, and if we use a total of 20 parchment grease, the final stat goes all the way to 2 million. Depending on which stat you choose to buff, you could end up with 6 billion health, or so much intellect that every time you kill a single enemy, you level up 60 times in a row. And even if you try to quit the game, it keeps going. Now the hard part is getting your hands on that much grease. In real life, I could harvest it from the nearest convention of Redditors, but
God
in
damn it.
Slasher's Keep,
We're
I must
doing
humbly
that
prostrate
kind of
myself
cheesing.
before the gods of RNG.
Make up
Allow me
one.
to introduce the Chair of Sacrifice. This is a religious
Oh,
icon
no,
that
I
you may
see what-
sacrifice items to in exchange for random rewards. If you're lucky, you'll get a great weapon. If you're really lucky, you'll get the ingredients you need for some parchment grease. Praise be to the Holy Chair. Wife left me. I'm $50,000 in debt. Electric company shut off my power, and I'm currently running this game on a diesel generator. But none of that matters when I'm performing high-level alchemy. Last but not least, you need to know about the shoot.
Oh god. Do you wanna cook? Come on, just see, it will be fun. We'll put it on the gas. We'll have some gas. And then sell it for cash.
Should have mentioned it sooner, but I'm a hack and we're at the end of the script. So open wide, chuddy. This is a garbage chute. You can find them on every level and they all lead back to the first floor. By vomiting copious amounts of equipment down the chute, we can soften the blow of dying to a spike trap.
Bonk.
Because
Yes.
when I respawn on the first floor, I'll be able to equip myself with what is effectively the estate sale of a cross-dressing serial killer. The global billionaires don't want you to know, but this is how you accrue generational wealth. There are other useful strategies and exploits, but honestly, once you've got 6 billion health, I think you've done enough min-maxing. So in conclusion, Slasher's Keep is an exciting and enigmatic example of combining several mediocre systems into a finished product which is greater than the sum of its parts. I hate the movement, I hate the combat, I hate the
I mean,
racing.
alchemy is actually real. We can turn mercury into gold now, or at least the Japanese found a way to do that in a fusion reactor. What? God damn. God damn, alchemy's real! Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I even hate the goddamn mosquitoes, and yet I love this game.
Yeah, god
10 out of 10
damn.
experience. Declaring war on pottery and eating dungeon kielbasa has never felt better. Thank you to this month's patrons for supporting the channel, and finally, thank you for watching.
No, leave me alone. I'm not buying. No, get me alone. I'm not. I don't know what she's actually saying, but goddamn, Reggie! Wow, that's a strong fucking video. Goddamn, love this dude. Give him a like, subscribe, whatever, bell icon, everything. This dude deserves this. Reggie has some amazing videos. Goddamn.